Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, let's roll. We are holding in the portion of Vayetze. Today is Wednesday, the fourth reading of the portion of Vayetze. We're holding on chapter 30, verse number 14. Vayelech Reuven b'mei Ktsir Chitim. And Reuven, the oldest son of Yaakov, son of Leah, went in the Mei Ktsir Chitim in the days of the wheat harvest. Vayimtza dudoyim, and he found dudoyim, flowers, the sada in the field. Vayave Esau Leah, and he brought it to his mother. Brought his mother some beautiful flowers. So Rachel, when she saw these beautiful flowers, she said to her sister, Tnu li midadoy benech. Share, give me some of those beautiful flowers. Love to have those flowers. Rashi says, in the days of the wheat harvest, this tells us the praise of the tribes, that it was harvest time, and he did not stretch out his hand upon stolen property to bring wheat or barley, but only upon ownerless things which nobody cares for, these dudoyim. Dudoyim, Rashi says, is sigili. It's an herb called jasmine in Arabic. So she said to him, in a small matter that you have taken my husband, you want to take my son's dudoyim? So she said, you know what? I'll give you my night. Yishkavima, let Yaakov be with you tonight. Tachas dudoy benech. Instead, the payment of those flowers. Rashi says, you'll take my son also. This is a question. Do you wish to do this, to take my son's dudoyim? The night's relationship belonged to me, but I give it to you in lieu of my son's dudoyim. So since she treated this relationship with a righteous man lightly, she did not merit to be buried with him. So that was a slip on Rachel's part. Yaakov and Asada, and Yaakov came from the field, Be'erev in the evening, Vatetze Leah, the Krase, and Leah came towards him, Atema Lai Tave, you're going to be in my tent tonight. Because I have bought you with the flowers of my son. And he slept with her in that night. So I paid for you. I have hired you. On that night, the Eibishter helps. And God, since she bought him, this is what happened. We got the next child, Yisachar. And God heard the Leah. And she conceived and had a fifth son. Again, since these were prophetess and they knew they had to have 12 children altogether, they are holding now at 4 from Leah, and 2 is 6. 8. So now the question is, really, Rachel should have had the next 4, but now the Eibishter heard God saw that Leah wanted to have them. She had a great desire in having the tribes. So he said, "Okay, I'm going to go with Leah even more than 4. I'm going to go to the 5th one." So Leah said, "God has given me my reward, which I have given my maidservant to my husband." And she called him Yisachar. Very interesting. There's many commentators because why didn't she connect it to Reuven with the dudoyim? She didn't do that. There's many reasons why she didn't do that. Concerning the dudoyim, she went back to the shivcha. She didn't want to. One of the reasons is she didn't want to embarrass her sister. From then on, call him Yisachar because of the dudoyim, because of the flowers. would be a thorn in the eye for Rachel forever. So therefore, she said, nothing to do with the flowers. Had to do with my shivcha, had to do with the zilpa. Leah and Leah got pregnant again. So now she's holding number 6. She had half of the tribes. God has given me a good portion. Now my husband will live with me because I have 6 of his children. And she called his son Zvulun. Rashi has a good portion. Rashi has the concept of Zvul, Yizveleni, an expression of dwelling place, lodging, abode, home, Yizveleni. From now on, his principal dwelling will be only with me because I have many sons than all others' wife. I have half of his children. She got pregnant again. And then she had a daughter. Dina, and she called him Dina. Rashi says it's very interesting because according to the Medrash, every boy was born with a girl also. So why suddenly over here it mentions a girl? So that's why it says, Rashi says, our sages explained that Leah pronounced judgment upon herself. When she got pregnant, she realized, she can't have a 7th son. This is not going to be good. She reasoned, if this is a male, my sister Rachel will not even have like the handmaid. She's not going to even have 2 children. If this is going to be a boy, then Rachel is not going to even have more than 1 son. So she said, this cannot be. And therefore, she prayed over him, and he was turned into a female. And Dina became a girl. So it says the first 40 days, Gemara says the first 40 days, whatever that means, you can pray to change the sex of the child. And now she had 7 children. So she had 6 boys and 1 girl. And if according to the Medrash, every boy was born with a girl. So she had 13 children. And God remembered Rachel. And God heard to her. Please, Vayiftach Asrachma, and he opened her womb. So Rashi says, what do you remember? He remembered for her, he gave the signs to sister Leah. And that she was troubled, at least she fell into Esav's lot. Now Rachel realized, she's the one that might, Jacob might divorce her or get rid of her, and Esav will come in and swoop her up. That's what he was afraid of. Jacob would divorce her because she had no children. Look at Esav. Got the idea when he was heard they had no children. Actually, Esav found out, wait, Rachel has no children. So maybe he'll come and take her. This is what the Python incorporated in the poem, the first day of Rosh Hashanah. When the ruddy one Esav saw that Rachel had not experienced birth pangs, he wished to take her for himself. And she was petrified. So this is what he means by the Python is many beautiful prayers in Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur liturgy that is encrypted the story of Rachel and Leah. So God heard her cry, and Vatar Vatele Ben, and she got pregnant, Baruch Hashem, and she had a baby, and Vatemer Osam Lekim Chapasi, God has taken away my embarrassment. So now she says, Osav Echnisa Makish Letira, God taken it and hid it that nobody should see. I was ashamed. Maybe she was challenging me that I'm not having a child. Chapasi, for he put me to shame, having been barren. And people were saying about me that I've fallen a lot of wicked Esav. And the Agada explains as follows: as long as a woman has no child, she has no one to blame and her faults. As soon as she has a child, that's when you have children. You blame your children. Everything is a problem. Everything is the children. So now you can have somebody to blame. So as long as you have no children, you have nobody to blame. Now Baruch Hashem, David gave you children. Now you can blame the children. So that's the meaning of it. Now I was living with my husband. I had nobody to blame. All my faults were pretty open. But now I can say, listen, I have a child. Tikish my Yosef. She called, verse 24, she called her son Yosef, Lamer, saying, she said, Yosef Hashem li ben Acha, may God grant me another son. So Rashta, again, she knew in prophecy that Jacob was dead, 12 children. And now we have 11. So the question was, out of the 4 wives, who is going to have the 12th child? So she prayed, may it be me, his will, that I would destine this to be me. Therefore, she prayed for another son. And no more. I said, Ben Acha, 1 son. She didn't say, Yosef Hashem, may God give me many sons. She yelled Rachel Yosef in the second. Rachel had Yosef. So Yaakov said to Lavan, Shalcheni, it's time for me to go. Send me and may I go back to my land. I gotta go home. Been away from home for over 22 years. As she yelled Yaakov, I said, Asher, what happened? Why suddenly when Yosef was born, Yaakov decides to go home? So when the adversary Esav was when the adversary of Esav was born, as it says, the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph will be a flame, and the house of Esav will be like stubble. Fire without a flame does not burn any distance away. As soon as Joseph was born, Jacob trusted the Holy One, blessed be, and desired to return to God. I'm not afraid of Esav anymore. The second I have my son Joseph, I know Joseph will overcome everything. So Nulius Nasha, give me my wives, Vesilade, and my children. Ashavata Israel, which I worked. It was not free. I worked for you 22 years. And let me go. Now I know which I have worked for you. So that's it. We didn't have to ask permission. He wanted to just quit. So he said, out of respect, I do not wish to leave without permission. I'm just doing a respectful act that I'm asking you permission. So Laban said, if only I have now found favor in your eyes, I have divided, the Lord has blessed me in your sake. So you've been a blessing to me. It's hard for me to let you go. So Rashi says he was the diviner. That was Lavan was a diviner. He used all these kishuf bones and stuff, as the Torah tells us later. I attained in my division, the nation, that the blessing came to me through you. When you came here, I had no sons. As it said, and behold, his daughter Rachel was coming with the sheep. Now, however, I have sons, and it says he heard words of Laban's sons. So I've been blessed. I have children. What kind of blessing, success has come through you? So why would I want you to go? Why don't you stay here? And that ends the Chumash of the day. And we'll continue the story tomorrow. And we go to the Tanya of the day. We're still holding in the 4th essay of the Kuntas Achrein, of the last part of the Tanya, as we march down to the completion of the Tanya on the 19th day of Kislev. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining us that there's a concept, there's a power in self-fulfilling learning Torah, and in prayer, and even in meditation, right? As we know, we have machshava, dibur, ma'aseh. Machshava and dibur, thought and speech, is very important, and it's important close to the soul also. But ultimately, the most important thing is the action. Machshava, dibur, ma'aseh. The ma'aseh ha-mitzvahs, when a Jew does a physical action, as he gave the example, takes the lulav and esrog, and he does the mitzvah. And what's the difference? The difference is machshava and dibur, the concept of thought, the meditation, understanding, which creates love and fear of God, self-understood, and the concept of learning Torah, which is the concept of the wisdom of God, which creates also love and fear of God, is all through the capacity of man. And how much his machshava can understand, and how much his learning can reach. And therefore, learning and meditation, you'll never reach the essence of God. Because because ultimately I'm a human being, and God and me are two opposites, and it's impossible for me to grasp the essence of God. I can grasp the acharayim, as he says, the outside of the midot. I can grasp the outside. So even Avraham Avinu, he gave the example when Avraham Avinu said, when Avraham Avinu was chesed, he was like the attribute of kindness. He said, but I'm dust and earth. I'm nothing in comparison to chesed, the way chesed is in its spiritual state. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining this, and he continues to explain this. This does not apply to study in order of the shtalshlus. This all applies to the mitzvahs. But the Alter Rebbe ends off yesterday. But when I do a mitzvah, when I do the mitzvah, I touch the essence of God, because that's the ratzon of the Eibishter. The ratzon of the Eibishter, I take the luv and shake it. That's it. Doesn't give you when you learn the pasuk doesn't give you the reason. The verse says, "And you shall take a little bit of and do it." That's it. Doesn't give the reason. So go learn the reason. If I'm going to learn the reason, I'm going to learn a reason. Is that what the pasuk says? The pasuk doesn't give any reason. The verse says you shall put on tefillin. That's it. The verse says you shall keep Shabbos. That's it. The pasuk doesn't give any reasons, because the truth is, all reasons you're gonna get is not gonna be the true essence of the reason, because the true essence of the reason is the will of God, and the will of God I cannot comprehend. The essence of God I truly cannot comprehend. So, but God wanted me to comprehend as much as I can, and that's when God gave the Torah, and God gave the concept of understanding of the Torah and the learning of the Torah. So God wanted that we should comprehend whatever we can comprehend, but at the same to come to the conclusion that whatever I comprehend is far from what it is. That's why even King Solomon says, "Achakma, I've received great knowledge, great wisdom, but I realize how far wisdom is from me." So that's why. Why did he say that? Because in the Seder Shtalshus, in the concept of the Seder, the way the Torah comes down into the world, ultimately the Torah came from a very high place. That's what the Torah is compared to water. Just like water comes from a very high place, comes down to a very low place. The Torah came from an extremely high place, the Chachma, the Eibishter, the wisdom of God himself. And this wisdom came down from level to level. And like a chain-like stage of progression, self-screening, whereby divine light descends from level to level. Ultimately, it comes into the word of the Torah. Even though one does comprehend the external aspect of the existence of the spheres of spiritual, you can reach up to that level to understand the external aspect of it, which is unbelievable. To even understand the external aspect of what God wants you to, the meaning of the mitzvah is phenomenal, because that alone is very high. There's no intrinsic, this is not intrinsically as worthy as a study of the law of the mitzvahs, where one comprehends and grasps their essence. So in the learning of Torah, I can never grasp the essence. I only grasp the external aspect of the mitzvah. But if I learn the halacha, how to do the actual mitzvah, and then I do the mitzvah when I grasp the essence. So limud, that's because akshayin halachas. Whoever learns halacha, it's important to learn halacha every day, to know what to do, how to do the mitzvah. Because if I don't know how to do the mitzvah, I'll never grasp the essence of God. So if I need to learn how to do the mitzvah, not just do a mitzvah without knowing how to do the mitzvah, I need to do the halacha. I need to know how to do the mitzvah, because then I'm going to grasp the essence of God. So explanation again is knowledge of various spiritual levels may indeed be superior to an unrelated reason, namely that it leads to a complete heart, leiv shalom, or wholehearted awe of God. And this, as the Alter Rebbe will later say, is a purpose of all mitzvahs. Intrinsically, however, gain this knowledge is not superior to the study of the laws governing the performance of mitzvahs, whose essence he can understand, right? The simple law. My love, and moreover, the study of the simple law is as if he's actually done it in the Torah. This is the Torah. The Gemara says, it says, this is the Torah of the Korban Chatos. This is the Torah of the sacrifice of women. This is the Torah. Meaning, the Gemara says that by learning Korban Chatos, it's as if you did the Korban Chatos. It's as if you did the sacrifice. This is the explanation. The Gemara comments on this. He who occupies himself with the laws is considered as if he had actually offered the burnt offering or the meal offering. So mastering, the Gemara says, by mastering the revealed law of the commandments, is thus in one sense superior to delving into the innermost dimensions. So pasha, to learn halacha, to learn the law. Forget about the spiritual dimension of the law. Simple dimension of the law. How to bring a sacrifice. That's why we learn, we're going to come in a couple of months, we're going to come to the portions of Vayikra, Leviticus. It's important to learn the verse. We're not bringing sacrifices today. There's no Beis Hamikdash. But learning the simple law of the Torah, understanding the sacrifice, what it was done to it, what is the mitzvah, whether you comprehend it or not, but this, you do comprehend it. It's simple. What do you do with a sacrifice? How you shecht it, how you cut it, comprehending the spiritual means. And you can comprehend what to do. Take the animal, shecht it, cut it this way, cut it that way, bring it on. Any person can leave. Even a 5-year-old child can learn Chumash. My friend, so the Torah says, the Gemara says, Zayis Torah, by learning the simple law, you have done the mitzvah. You have actually brought the sacrifice. So that's the beauty of it. Mastering the law and commandments is thus, in one sense, superior to dwelling in the innermost dimension and premius of the Torah, an esoteric subject such as the order of Seder Shtaus, to figure out how it works. But the study of the law relates to the essence of the subject at hand. If you're not, if you can learn all the esoteric and you're not going to know how to bring the sacrifice, so you can't do it practically. It's all in esoteric. The esoteric is not going to help you bring a korban. To bring the sacrifice, you have to know the practical. And that's the pasuk, the practical. Such as physical object, which is the command, are performed. God's wisdom, moreover, which is inherent in these laws, descends and permeates the physical object around which the law resolves. It is thus the essence of God's wisdom that a student comprehends, and thereby he becomes involved in the wondrous union described in Tanya. So instead, when a person learns Chumash, or learn Chitas, learn Chumash, the pasuk. When we're learning Chumash and Rashi, Chitas is Chumash and Rashi. We're not giving you great, deeper. Every pasuk can go deeper and deeper. And you can go. We're learning simple Chumash. But that's the beauty. Simple pasuk is what the Eibishter said, and the wisdom of the Eibishter is in that pasuk, whereby his mortal intellect encompasses by. So by knowing the simple pasuk, not even by its esoteric meaning of the verse, by knowing the simple pasuk, you have actually been surrounded God, and God surrounds you. And divine wisdom embodied in the Torah, which is studying. This intellectual union is in turn unites his soul, which transcends his intellect, with the infinite light which is vested in the wisdom of Torah. So that's what happens, my friend, by simply learning the pasuk, by simply doing the mitzvah according to the law. Something that's important according to the law. And it's also important to understand the pasuk. You're not just reading it as a parakeet, and that's why we learn Chumash and Rashi, to understand the simple meaning of the pasuk. Rashi says, I've given you this interpretation to a 5-year-old child, that a 5-year-old child can understand the simple meaning of the pasuk. Is there much deeper meanings in the pasuk? Even Rashi sometimes says there's a lot of meanings in this pasuk. I'm giving you the simple meaning. You want to go and and travel on a journey of the pasuk and the verse, you can go for years. No, learning never ends. But I'm giving you the simple meaning. Can we all know Chumash and Rashi? Can we all know the Chumash simple meaning? Yeah. And therefore we need to do that. We need to know the simple meaning. And God said to the Moshe, or this week's Pasha, simple story. Just read a simple story. He brought flowers and she got the relationship with him and they had children. It's a simple story. Everybody can learn it. I'm sure there's great spiritual meanings to that story. There's no question about it. And there is. But aim, as the Gemara says, aim you can't take the verse out of its simple meaning. But it's true when one understands the essence of his subject. This is the case when he studies, for example, the law regarding the observance of commandments. If, by contrast, his subject is in the hierarchies of angels in the world of Bri, Yitzir, and yet higher, the configuration of spheres, in the world of Atzilus, then his grasp is no more than external. He may indeed be aware of his subject's existence, but he's unable to know its essence. When you know the simple meaning of the law, you know the law. Now, all above notwithstanding, the Alter Rebbe is about to point out the superior aspects of Ishtalshelus. Now the Alter Rebbe goes backwards. See, everything has its place. The Alter Rebbe wants to say that even though I just told you the simple halacha is important, but don't forget to learn this. Don't forget the importance of learning and trying your best to learn the esoteric. However, the knowledge of the existence of Ishtalshelus, which means Ishtalshelus means the extent, the way the worlds come, the way godliness comes through the worlds. I mean, what happens when I do a mitzvah, the way Seder Ishtalshelus, what happens when I do a mitzvah? How does God connect through this mitzvah? This is called Seder Ishtalshelus. This is all the limud, the esoteric part of the Torah, and the limud, the teachings of Kabbalah. So we can talk about worlds, Atzilus, Bria, Yitzir, Asiya. We talk about these worlds. Anybody see this world physically? No. It's all in my mind. The world of Atzilus, and the world of emanation, the world of creation, and the world of formation, and the world of that. And we can go and talk about it. We can explain about it. Did anybody see it? No. That's what it says. That when we'll see it, we'll say, aha. That's the expression the Alter Rebbe said. What's going to be the difference, learning or not learning Chassidus, is that when Mashiach comes, say, aha, that is Atzilus. I've been learning about it. I've been imagining all its dimensions. I've been imagining its descent and the way it comes down into how the Zohar, we all learned this, the Zohar comes in Malchus, and Malchus comes into Chochmah, all these wondrous concepts. And then when we'll imagine, we'll see it actually with our eyes. We'll see with our eyes. Now I got it. Now I see it. I got it before, but now I really got it because I see it. So it's very important to use. That's why it's important. You can't say, you know what? I'll wait till I'll see it, because when you're going to see, you're not going to know what you see. So you need to learn. You need to learn these esoteric things, even though that you'll not know the essence, because it's important. It's a very important mitzvah to learn these concepts. And indeed outweighs them all. All the mitzvahs to study the laws of Torah. As it says in the Torah many times, you shall know today your God. I know that it says you have to do a mitzvah, but it says you should know God. It says, know the God of your father. So it's a mitzvah. So just like you have a mitzvah of putting on tefillin, you have a mitzvah to know God. So I'm not diminishing the importance of knowing spirituality and to every person's capability to know God. So there's an obligation to know God. There's an obligation to do a mitzvah, and there's an obligation to know God. And why? Because by knowing God, it brings you to a whole heart. For the latter verse concludes, and serve him with the whole heart. Because if you don't know God, you can't serve him with a whole heart. You're like a robot. And God wants you to serve him with your heart. And that, with your heart, which is an emotion of love and fear of God, that needs to come through understanding. So you can do halacha without love and fear of God. You're a robot, or you're just a follower. God didn't want that only. He wanted that you should love him. And you should fear him. You be in awe of him. And that takes knowledge. And knowledge in the esoteric. Knowledge in God. Not just knowledge in the law, but knowledge in God. And the latter verse concludes, you serve God, meaning a knowledge of God leads one to serve him entire being. Sure, Ikar. And this is essential to serve God with your heart. Don't take it as, oh, that is not important. It's very important to serve God. You should, as we say, you have to love God. So how can you love God if you don't know God? I can follow God. I have to love God to follow the law. I don't love the law. I follow the law of the land. I might not like the law. I might not like the law, but that's the law. So I'll follow the law. I need to know the law, how to follow it. But I follow the law. No, the Eibishter wanted you to love him, not just follow his laws. And that's an ikar. That's an important thing, because God wanted you to love him, not just you to follow him only. And the comprehension of existence entails divesting this subject of any physicality. And the way to understand it, to go away, to understand God, you have to take away the physical. So now, to go to the esoteric, you got to go away from the physical reality. Because that's God. God is the spiritual. And it's important. In other words, one should endeavor to picture its spirituality. Hence, the Alter Rebbe often stresses, one should study the innermost mystical dimension of Torah in such a way that one derives sustenance from it, meaning the sustenance derived from the comprehension. And soundly based comprehension can be secured only when this dimension of Torah is studied with the intellect elucidation afforded by the teachings of Chabad Hasidus. However, this mitzvah, knowing God and apprehending the divinity, is one of the 613 commandments. And every Jew has to do all 613 commandments. So you can't get away with it. It's one of the mitzvahs to know God. For they descend from the essence of the external aspect of the vessels of Atzilus, a source whose standing was explained above. We explained this already. So everything, the wisdom of God comes from the world of Atzilus, from the vessels of the world of Atzilus. And therefore, it's important to learn Atzilus. It's important to learn the source of Torah. So you need to learn. Atzilus is an esoteric concept. It's not it's not, even though it's called the world, it's not the world of Gashmi. It's a spiritual world. You need to learn the world of Atzilus. And what is the makeup of the world of emanation? Because that's the source of where the Torah comes from. Therefore, one must extensively study the 613 mitzvahs, hence fulfill them in actual practice through thought, speech, and deed, which parallels Yetzirah, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiyah. Levarim Berum Hashem, in order to purify whatever needs to be purified there. So you need to go all the way up to, first of all, to do Machshav, Dibur, Maisa, and then even go higher, ultimately to its source. So as previously explained, the extraction and elevation of sparks exiled in the various worlds is the ultimate purpose of creation, and that's why the only way you can rectify not only the physical world here, but also to rectify the sparks that have come down and are in the upper worlds is through learning the upper worlds. So understanding the world of emanation, the world of creation, the world of formation, and the world of action, which are all esoteric concepts, they're all spiritual concepts, but by understanding them, you actually elevate those worlds and you rectify the sparks in those worlds, which is the purpose of creation, thus like to rectify the sparks that are physically in this world, mamish, the sparks that are in the physical aspects of the world. The only reason why the sparks are in the physical part of the world is because they came down from the world of the spiritual world of Asiya, from the spiritual world of Yitzira formation, from the spiritual world of creation, from ultimately from Atzilus. And that's important of taking the Lulav and Esrog. So everything has its place, everything has its purpose, and everything needs to be done. And that's why your neshama came down to the world to accomplish in all levels, on the physical level, on the esoteric level, on all levels that the soul needs to do and do the Avodah and to elevate this world physically and spiritually. That completes the Tanya of the day. Beautiful Tanya, as always. Gets me motivated, the Tanya of learning Tanya every day. And today is the 6th day of the month. Today's the 6th day of the month. Chapters of Tillim are chapter 35, 36, 37, 38. So 35 to 38 in your Psalms, 35 to 38, and you do the chitas of the day, my friends. I wish you all a wonderful, beautiful, happy, and healthy day, and we'll see you tomorrow as we continue the chitas of the day.